Hello, hello, and welcome to Kept Woman Conversations. I know some of you are looking, where is Robin? That's right. What today is a special day. I am Shawanna Kennedy, and I get the privilege to do a Kept Woman Conversation takeover. That's right. This is truly a takeover. I get to operate with Robin, partner with Robin on a bunch of things, one of which is being the co producer, video productions director for Kept Woman Conversations. And we felt it necessary for you to hear from Robin. That's where I get to have all the fun. That's right. I'm Shawanna Kennedy of Kennedy Media. And what I do is help you be seen, be heard, and increase the visibility in your business and your life. So today, having the privilege to then go behind the scenes and then come on the mic to talk to you about a Kept Woman Conversations, we get to talk to the woman herself. If you've been looking at her previous episodes, you notice that she's been having Kept Woman Conversations with women from all walks of life, talking about the good, that bad, the trauma, being vulnerable about the things that has kept them, the things that have pulled up trauma, that has betrayed their trust. And today we get to have that same conversation with Robin Boyd herself. I know for some of you who may not even realize that Robin is a best-selling author. And as we prepare for book number 2, we want you to hear the voice. We want you to hear what has inspired her, what has hurt her, but what has kept her strong and resilient through it all. Most of you know her as the CEO of Essential Accounting, where she get to partner with and work with multiple 6 and 7 figure clients from all over the globe. That's right. She helps you make it make sense. But this time we're taking a sneak peek. We're going deeper into the woman herself and her choosing to narrate her own life in this way. So I applaud her bravery. I am privileged to get to call her friend. And in some cases, she's my sister. And having this conversation means the world to me because we want the world to know more about her so that she can do what she do by helping you be more of a kept woman too. So if you will join me in helping me welcome the lady herself, Robin Boyd. Welcome in, Robin.
Hello,
Welcome
hello,
in.
hello,
Wait. See,
hello. I'm so excited.
we need some effects. We need some effects. I'm excited that you get to come from asking people questions where I get to talk to you. That's right.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I'm excited that we get to ask you some questions today. We get to ask you some questions.
I got all the answers.
Look, y'all think she's ready. Y'all think she's ready. So you know what? Let's get into it. I want to know, when I think about Robin and being a kept woman, we know that this has been a unique journey, right? When we think about women and just being a woman in itself, that comes with a lot of things. But then when you add love and being in love and you taking yourself from the place that you were to be with someone you love, I want to know, how has that been for you and what has kept you through it all? Because I want to put that at the very top. What has kept you through it all?
What has kept me through it all is the reason why I named the book Kept Woman. And that is, I was being kept by God. Everything that I was going through in my life, good and bad, you can visually see, hear God's voice, see Him protecting me, good and bad, from whatever was on the other side of that. Okay. So even when I left the country in umpteen years ago to move to another country where I didn't know the language, I knew the people, the Americanized version of those people, but I didn't know the people. So I get to this country to go to be with someone that I knew, and I relied on him to keep me safe, guide me through the whole thing, because he never let me down before. So I just jumped out the tree. When I got there, all I heard was all these different, all the Spanish, real fast talking Spanish everywhere. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? I don't know how. I was just so. It was like a culture shock. That's what you call that.
Mm.
And so Then we walked into a nightmare. I mean, soon as I got there, just a couple days later, we found out, what his family had did to him, and the realities that we thought we were walking into were not those realities. So me being the person that I am, I don't wear things on my sleeve. I don't have time for pity parties. I don't do that. I said, okay. I said, this is what we're gonna do. This is how we're gonna get everything back together. We sat down, made a plan, and we started regrouping. It took us a while, but I had already had my infrastructure in place. I had two businesses at the time, still essential accounting, and then I had a property management company, and both of those were thriving. So I had it already set up to work virtually, and that plus we had a contract with a mining company at the time. Those things that kept us going, kept. We're gonna keep hearing that word. So um, I think God's grace that I had and have kind of put a smoke screen up for me, some rose-colored glasses, if you will, that I was kind of going through the motions and being led through everything. We think we're making plans, and then you look back and say, wait a minute, that's not how I planned it out. So I was being led without even knowing that that was happening to me, because no one, I mean, nobody could. It's a hard feat to be able to do what I did. So to do it flawlessly and effortlessly, that the way that I did it, it's even hard now for me to even go kind of search back. I can't tell you how I did it, but I know that I had God's grace, and he led me through all of these ups and downs and turnarounds, back and forth and back. And I said, oh, that's what it was. Okay. Because I don't know how I did it.
Mm-hmm.
Where did I get the strength from, the wherewithal, the resolve. Where did I get it from? It
Yeah,
wasn't him.
that's
It wasn't my husband, because he was having a pity party. They're not strong as we are. Sorry. Not sorry. They're not as strong as we are. So I had to try to build him up, try to keep myself together, try to do what we need to do, try to direct him. Then I got the two companies, then my family's back in the States, all of these things simultaneously.
Yeah, I love that you right out the gate. So that's where we need people to understand. You said it at the beginning, and then us being human, we say we don't know, but you
Hmm.
know that it was you being kept by God. It was by his grace and his mercy.
Yes.
And
Hmm.
I have to even ask you, was there a moment, or can you recall a time when you felt alone?
Yes, on several different occasions. Sometimes my husband would, as I told you, he was having a pity party, constant pity party. And so when he's not present in conversations and things that are going on, he's kind of aloof. It's like me by myself. It's like I'm left to figure out everything, to pull it all together, to execute whatever needs to be done at that time. And that became my role. From that moment, after being leaving to Dominican Republic, from that I became the person that executed, planned out, handled everything, which that was a different role for him, because he was the strong one, the alpha male, took care of things
How did that
before.
feel to you though? And how
I
did you
didn't,
feel?
at the time, it felt very uncomfortable, but after I was in that role for quite some time, it was it became commonplace. But as I retract on it and talking to you about it, and even if I just sit and think, it was a very uncomfortable, very disturbing, unfair situation that I was in. Very unfair. But I now know that, yes, all of those things, but it was a reason why all of those things had to happen. Unfortunately, that's how it had to go before I could get to where I am at this moment.
Did you ever
Where
did you
everything
ever
that I got.
doubt your decision?
Yes, I did constantly.
What did that
Yes, I.
look like?
I am internally. I would say, why did I come here? I should leave. If I go back to the States, things will be better. I'll be more peaceful, calm, organized. I won't have these problems. Why am I staying here? Just leave. All all those things running through my head. Yeah, constantly. I doubt it all the time.
And what did you do when you heard those voices? What did you do to push past? Because you said it, you used the term commonplace. You made it become your new normal.
Hmm.
What were the things you did when you know you heard your inner voice speaking to you? How did you push past that inner voice? When you know it was beyond being comfortable, it was beyond being in a strange place. What did you do? How did you navigate around that?
Well, I had a very good prayerful, life. I prayed a lot and I journalized. I used to also write down in my journal what I was praying about. And then when I got those prayers answered, I would go back and put when they were answered. So I had like, okay, on this day I asked God for this and then he gave it to me on this day. So, for instance, if because my husband became a very angry, erratic person, and when he would get like that with his family, and I would just pray like just calm him down, and he had days of being very lucid, because when he how when somebody comes in the house and they're angry and it sets the tone for everything, when he came in the house like that, it just set the tone for everything and everybody around us. And so I would just want him to calm down so he can think clearly. And then that would set the tone for me because remember I was running two companies, so how I did that, I had to pray, calm down myself internally and think things out rationally. I was the rational one. But sometimes people throw you off your square, and you get they draw you in and they pull you in, and then you got to pull yourself back out because nobody's going to pull you back out. But that's kind of the nudging that I was getting. You ever felt that nudge? God nudge you and say, "No,
Oh,
don't do that,
oh,
Robin."
oh, see, this
Yeah.
Robin Boyd's story today, y'all. This is
See?
Robin Boyd's story today. But
So
being in
yeah.
relationship, when we think about relationships and we think about, because there is no perfect relationship outside of the one that I choose to believe, the one that we choose to have with our creator. Uh, but dealing with another human being, dealing with another person who we believe is our soulmate, being and choosing a person that we believe this is who I'm intended to be with. And you look
Mhm.
at the sacrifices, you think about the sacrifices and the things you went through to overcome. All of those things would run through my mind. So when you were saying that even things running through your mind, I can only imagine some of the things saying, did I make the right decision? Is this
No,
what
yeah.
was intended and meant for me? And when
Oh
you
yeah.
think about facing those things, do you have any regrets? Do you have something that you wish you really could have, even though you loved him, you really did? Do you what was one regret or one something that you wish you could have done differently?
I do not have any regrets. I will be one of those people that will not grow old with regrets and guilt because I played everything out to the white meat and I did everything that I could to make sure that I wouldn't have any regrets. On those days that I had the doubts, that day I had the doubt, and then the next day we go off and we do things, or we travel to here, or we did a lot of things, a lot of adventures. I saw a lot. I mean, my horizons were broadened to what I can't even put in words. But no, I will not. I do not regret anything.
What about doing
It's
something
sad,
perhaps
isn't it? Is
maybe a
that sad
little
that I
bit
don't
different?
regret?
What about if what's one something you wish you could have done just a little bit different, like going back? Not to say that you wouldn't have went, you wouldn't have gone through those experiences, but maybe looking back in hindsight, did you say, you know what, I might have tweaked that just a little bit?
Okay, here's one thing. I think I'm going to use this word, but I hesitate to use it. I coddled him too much.
Talk
So I
about
was
that for a
more of
minute.
his mom than, you know, I, but that I get that from my mother, so it's her fault. But I nurtured him too much. Too much. And if I wouldn't have done that, maybe he would have bucked up a little bit more. Does that
Mhm.
make sense?
It does.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
So,
when you felt that, because I know it wasn't after everything was coming towards, where we are today, even in those moments and you had those conversations with yourself, what was what stopped you from saying, I really have to be tougher, even while you were in it? And you was like, no, I have to stop doing it
okay.
this way. What stopped you?
What stopped me from doing it? What I just said I should have been doing? What
Yes,
stopped me?
some of the coddling that you might have felt in your gut back then.
It just seems like he was not able to function if I wouldn't have done what I did. It's just like he just couldn't get there. Here you have somebody that has always had it all, had everything laid out for him. And yeah, he had the meager beginnings, but for years he just had everything. And he just did not know how to function. Just being normal, regular, and he just had a constant all day everyday pity party internally. Sometimes it was outwardly, but constantly. He could not reconcile with who he was versus who he became.
So how did you
And every,
deal with that, and even dealing with that back then? I
and I
know,
didn't
and
put this together like this, right? Well, how I'm saying it to you now, I didn't put this together like that then.
okay.
Yeah, I'm just now, the older and more mature Robin is can tell you, can put things together for you like this. But I guess I really wasn't dealing with anything at the time. I just kind of went with it, whatever was going on that day. Constantly making plans, constantly trying to fix and be the solutions person.
And so
But
what
also,
toll did that take? Let's talk about mental health for a moment. With
okay.
all of these things, you saying right now with some of the self-work that you are doing, with some of the we'll call it some of the kept work that you're doing now. What does that
Uh-huh.
look like? Right. You guys get it? Some of the kept work. What does that look like for your mental health? Even back then, when you were alone and when you possibly had nights that you stayed up, nights that you because
Mhm.
you're pretty tough. Anybody that know Robin Boyd, they know she's a tough cookie. You know
Mhm.
Robin, right? Y'all, the ones that are looking at me right now and saying, I know her before there was a him, right?
Yeah.
What did that look like mentally for you when you were home alone, when you were
Mhm.
possibly, because I've seen the helicopters, I've seen the acres of land, right? What did
Mhm.
that feel like when you were walking the grounds alone mentally? Talk to us about mental health for a moment.
Well, at the time, I thought I was functioning and coherent, and everything was fine. But as time progressed, it takes a toll on you in a way that the trauma that you had early on in your life, whether it's at childhood, teenage years, even young adult years, affects how you react to something now. So not until I got with my breakthrough coach, trauma specialist, that I understood the root things that happened in my life that allowed me to be able to even deal with something like that and to stay in that. I essentially found someone that was just like my dad.
Mm,
Go figure that one out.
Talk to us
Just
about that then.
yeah.
Talk
Hmm?
to us about that. That's good. That's good right there. And
Yeah.
you said you found someone that was
Hmm.
just like your father. And
Hmm.
coming to that realization, even now, how have you been able to look at that, to process that? We're talking about mental health and saying, wow,
I'm
I
still
freaking,
processing.
I freaking picked someone
Yeah.
that's like my father, or how he was during, during those
Mhm.
times.
Yeah.
How talk to us about that when it you Eureka. I
Yeah.
actually picked somebody like my father. How did that feel to you when you really thought about it and realized that this is what you had done?
Yeah, when I came to that realization in one of my sessions, I was just like, wow, I mean, this is exactly right on. How did that happen? How did I allow that to happen? How did I not see that? That's why I tell you about those rose colored glasses. It's like you have these blinders on and you can't see anything. And then 20 years later, you're like, oh, why didn't I see it real clear now? Why didn't I see it before? But again, in working through and dissecting things that happened early on, you figure out that, I mean, you see how it happened. I was always, to not disclose too much, but I was always trying to save my mother in with my dad. And I became just like her and found the person just like him.
Mm, right there, with that thought, with that feeling.
Hmm.
Right now, I actually want you to just even speak to your younger self. And I want to know, what would you say to your younger self right now?
I would say it's okay that you do not have to help everyone. You do not have to save everybody. You do not have to find a solution for everything that's going on around you and everything that everyone else is going through. That's what I would say to myself. For some reason, I think that I have to find the answers to everything for everybody. That's it. And that takes a toll on you.
Yeah, it really does. When I think about it, that we all have gone through something. Everybody has a
Mhm.
story. So again, I will say it. I appreciate you being vulnerable. I appreciate you telling your own story. And the hope, the hope, the hope, ladies and gentlemen, is that this inspire you to begin to tell your own story, because you sharing your story could be the very thing that someone else need to live out their life, to get on that God-given design path that he has set forth for them. It's us knowing that we have power. We have been given power. We have been given authority. And I applaud you, Robin, for taking your power back, for taking your power back, and you
Mhm.
being the voice. And a lot of the things that sometimes happen to us, right? God, I'm a believer. And so with me, I know that there is a divine will and there is a permissive will. And in certain things, there's nothing that happens. I'll say this, there's nothing that happens that God does
Mhm.
not allow. He does not
Right.
cause these things, but there are things that he does, he allows, because we have free will and we get to choose. And it is my prayer. I know it is Robin's prayer that you use this, you take this opportunity to begin to tell your own kept woman or even kept man story, that you begin to not listen at what other people have said or the things that you possibly could be saying in the back of your own mind. When we take the
Mhm.
time to think about it, look, if you are a person, a man or woman of a certain age, there's a lot of things that we don't even want to think about. But in order
Mhm.
for us to go where we're intended to be, we have got to be okay to take a page out of Robin's book and begin to tell our kept story, because we've made it through and over some things. So I'm excited about you doing this. I'm excited about the journey of the kept woman, right? If you haven't
Mhm.
grabbed a hold of it, you just say, oh, to be kept, right? I
Yeah.
need y'all to actually
Mhm.
put that in the comments. I'm kept, I'm kept. And the thing about that question is then you need to answer for yourself. I'm kept by what? I'm kept by who? What is keeping me right now? Because those are the things that you're going to need to move through the rest of your life. I'm
Yes.
excited, Robin. I'm excited. I appreciate what it is that you do. We know that you make numbers count, right? But when I think
Yes.
about the years, all of the years, and counting up
Hmm.
the costs, when we choose to love someone, that means we have to be okay to being betrayed. When we choose to love someone, we have to choose to forgive and be
Hmm.
forgiven. Let's say that. Let's say
Yes.
that
Oh yes. Oh
have to
yes.
choose to be
Oh yes.
forgiven. Thinking about forgiving because a part of healing. We know you talked a little bit about the mental health piece. You even spoke to your younger self. When we think about forgiveness, what is your thought on all of this when you look back over this story that spans over 20 years? What's your thought about forgiveness?
Oh, the proof is in the pudding because, as you'll see in book two, this coming soon, I constantly show that I forgave, whether it be him or others in my life. I believe that you should forgive and forget, not forgive and still remind the person what they did. Forgive and move on. Because the longer you hold on to the past, the more it's still your present and you can't even get to your future because you're still holding on to what happened back then. You did this to me, you did that to me. Oh my God. And how you gonna move forward? I mean, that's just logic. How you gonna move forward? But you forgive the person and you move on. And that's it. It's just that simple. It's nothing more to it. No more revenge or I'm gonna get you back or none of those things. Just forgive and forget. That's simple.
Y'all hear that? That sounds like a woman that's doing some of their kept work, right? That's doing some of their kept work. We are excited because, as you said, Robin, told it because I know some people have been on tiptoe anticipation, waiting as we prepare. Look, coming to you soon. Book two, as well as even with the thinking about because you do a lot of journaling, and we know that has been part of what's been used in your healing process.
Yes,
And we
yes,
know that journaling piece and getting those thoughts out, but there is power in the pen, right? We know that there is power in the pen and being able to write some things down to make them plain so that you can even see not only what you've been through, but that you can see how far you have come. And you can
yes.
also write where it is that you believe that you want to go. I want to know what has been some of that strategy that has kept this woman, that has kept Robin Boyd. What's been some of that strategy?
Well, as you know, I am big into my ancestry. So this is kind of the back story of why I decided to write the book. So with doing ancestry, yeah, we all know the obvious things that happened in our ancestry, but there's a lot of things that we don't know. And you see all of these documents and see where your relatives lived and but you don't know anything about them. Yeah, you got the birth certificate, death certificate, census reports, and those types of things. But now, when 100 years from now or 50 years from now, whenever somebody looks up me, they're gonna know everything about me. I wrote a book, the part one and part two, and they're gonna know everything. Why did she go to Dominican Republic? How did she end up back in Cleveland? All of those things is wonderful because somebody in my future, one of my relatives, is gonna take something from what I wrote and make that into something, whether it be for themselves, people around them. I'm gonna be in future book clubs. All these things. They're just so satisfying. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how that feels. And so that's one of my strategies in writing this book. Also to help others write their stories so their future relatives and can know things about them, but also for healing. It is so therapeutic That word is so, putting it lightly, but it's so therapeutic to write your story. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
The
I like
phrase,
that.
write your story. So that therapy from writing a story, then now you wrote your story, now you're going to inspire somebody else. Inspiration. That's the key. Inspiration. So everybody talk about, oh, I want to inspire, I want to empower, I want to do this and that, but nobody's doing anything. They just use those words. They just throw them around. Okay. You want to empower people. Okay, what are you doing to empower people? What are you doing to inspire somebody? Sometimes it's more than just giving money. People say, "Oh, we got to help each other." It's not about just helping people each other with money. We have to help each other, something that's going to have some longevity to it. Something that's going to really do something for somebody. That's like if your relative call you right now and say, "Oh, I can't pay my light bill." You pay the light bill, and then 2 months later they right back into the same situation. So what have you really done for them? But to enable them to call you and ask you for the money. But if you put something in their path where they can do something about it, now they can pay their own light bill. Here you now you got something, right? So that's my strategy.
I love the Are y'all
Some of them
listening to what
anyway.
she's saying? Look, are y'all listening? That's why we felt it necessary for this takeover, because with her asking other individuals about their kept story, it's where I wanted you to hear, we needed you to hear more of her heart, see more of her heart, and really where this comes from, and that fire. Look, that fire. Matter of fact, look. I said where that fire comes from, because you when we think about being in the line of fire, being under fire, right? Being under fire.
Hmm.
Talk to us a little bit about when you not only decided to say, I'm about to tell my story, I'm about to say some things publicly. It doesn't matter what people might have heard, or if they were close enough for me to be able to, because I needed to share some things where they may know something because they're in an inner circle. Talk about the criticism from some of your choices. Help somebody there, or talk about that. What did that feel like when you
I
knew that
didn't
at
get
times?
much
Yeah.
criticism from the book. I got a lot of great responses from people that I know and people that I don't know. I would get responses, inboxes of from people on the airplane. I'm on airplane going to California. When I got there, I had already finished your book. Oh my gosh, what a great story. People that don't know me from Adam. But there was just one situation where someone said the book was about them. And I don't know where they got that from, because it's clear that this book is about me and my husband's story. I just had to lay out some of the groundwork prior to me meeting him, so the readers could get a feel for me prior to meeting him, and then tell you what happened after we met, and then continue on from there. But yeah, there's a lot of people that have crossed my path. And so if you were with me when something happened and I mentioned that you were with me, the story is not about you. You understand?
Yeah,
So,
now even before you decided to write the book, I want to
mhm,
know when things that were happening to you that's in the book, things that were
mhm.
happening to you that you're even going to disclose more in the upcoming book, that criticism, when people, because before they ever call us, before they ever look at us, they are searching us up. When you think about the life that you chose and some of the things that were happening, as behind all of some of this tumultuous relationship at times, what about that criticism before you ever wrote the book? How did you deal with that criticism? How did you,
I didn't
even
really,
if it was within yourself, what was happening?
I got a lot of criticism about moving to Dominican Republic. And I mean, if you know me, I just ignored every single solitary person, because once I get my mind set on something, that's it. You got to understand, people that criticize, they can only see inside of their box. They don't have any, they can't see anything else. And so to listen to them, what does that make you? To listen to these people that can't see anything else, that don't do anything else. They're on this hamster wheel every day, and they want to tell you not to do. So I just totally ignored anything anybody had to say in regard to that. Um, Also, when I first met him, I got criticized with, how can you be with somebody outside of your race? And I said,
Mm.
outside of my race? He's just as African American as I am. What are you talking about? And what does that matter? Because my friends are from all spectrums of the globe. So I don't look at, when I see somebody, I'll be like, oh, that's my friend. I don't say, oh, that's my uh, German friend. People say that, put the race in front of it. Why do they do that? That's my friend. That's not my German friend. That's just my friend. So I said, he's more black than I am. And they say, well, no, he's not. He's from Dominican Republic. I said, okay, please. Don't even get me started. Don't say anything else to me. But he is, okay? That's it. Because I already had the ancestry bug before I even started working on my ancestry 15 years ago. So I already knew. I had all my great grandparents in my life. I used to ask questions all the time. I was always very inquisitive. So yeah. So when somebody says something to me about, oh, I'm 100% Native American, or I'm 100% Italian, I'd be like, ugh! you know, nobody's 100% anything. So I digress. I'm just gonna leave that right there. But yeah, so when somebody criticizes, I got a deaf ear. I ignore people. I'm real good at that. And when something is meant, you have ease towards it. If I would have, if I would have felt like I was pushing it or forcing it, then I would have backed up. I'm real good with that too. Sometimes people are like, oh, come on, let's go here. And I'll be like, nope, I don't want to go. Why? I just, for some reason, I just feel like I shouldn't go. That's all.
Yeah, that's discernment. That's
Yeah.
this.
Discernment. That's it.
Yeah, I
That's the
see
word.
that as this as discernment, and
Discernment.
we
Yeah.
have to be when you are more self aware, you're present, right? Being self aware that
Mhm.
allows you to be more present, which means you're actually able to be and see things a little bit more clear, right?
I'm
I
working
want to
through that
know,
now.
yeah.
My discernment and my things that I see clear, like the writing on the wall that others don't see. I'm working on like developing that a little bit more.
Mhm. It's actually
Yeah.
something that we all need to work on, and it
Yeah.
is a
Yeah.
daily it's a daily practice. It's things that we have to look at ourselves to make us better for ourselves. I like that what you said too about blocking things out, and I guess that speaks to that resilience in you, right?
Yeah. hmm
You have a when you are fixed on something, when you're fixed and focused, even if even if it's something that others believe that is not the right, but we all have our own path. We all have our own call, our own destiny. I want
hmm
to know though, when we looking at this kept woman story, what has been one of the hardest lessons about this 20, almost 25 years? What's been one of the hardest lessons though, Robin? Because we learn lessons all along the
Okay.
way,
So let
all of
me
them.
think about book one. I don't want to jump into book two.
It's all
So
right.
one of the hardest lessons
One
in
of the
book
hardest lessons.
one. Well, I'll just say this and kind of give away a little bit. I mean, the people have been watching the episodes, but when I had to come back to Cleveland for issues that I had to deal with, I'm gonna let y'all read about what the issues are. My husband said to me that I was leaving him. He negated that I was coming back for a reason. He said I was leaving him. And that was a hard pill to swallow for me because it's like it's all about you. Wait a minute, dude. Wait, it's you and I in this. We're oh, it's all about you. So that was very difficult for me to hear him say that. That was a huge lesson for me. I didn't do nothing with it at the time, but that was a huge lesson. It took me a while still to do something about that.
Yeah, so
But
the
I
lesson
realized
is
then,
that him making it about him being what? And I'll say the word, him being selfish. Okay. So how did
yeah.
you feel about him when you think about how did that feel knowing that of all the sacrifices that you chose to make and where you truly could clearly see that he was being selfish?
At the time, I was more focused on what I was, had to do at hand. But later on in reflection times, it would just be like, wow, it was like a kick in the stomach. It was just like, wow, what am I doing? Why am I with this guy? He's all about himself. Um, but again, like I said, I didn't act on it at that time. It just started swirling around, but he would go back and forth, but he stayed focused on I left him. And if I wouldn't have left him, XYZ wouldn't have happened. So you need me to be physically here for you to do what you're supposed to do. Really? What about me? I'm going over here to take care of this. Are you going to be there for me when I take care of X, Y, and Z?
And how did that make you feel?
I
What? Give
can't
me
say
a
what
word.
like
How did that
like
make you
listen.
feel?
It made me feel very, very, very low. Like nothing. Nothing. It's like, what have I been doing all of this for? What am I in this by myself? Is he only with me because I can do something for him or make him, be the strong person behind him and make him do what he's supposed to do or help him do what he's supposed to do? What about me? Who's going to help me do anything? Who's going to be the strong person behind me? So, as I say in the next book, I'm going to give you a little hint. When we left to Dominican Republic, although it was flawless and everything worked out okay to a certain point, that was the beginning of the end.
Mm.
Right there. That was the beginning of the end. So that's why I'm real big about deportation. I'm real big on immigration issues. He couldn't come to grips with a lot of things. He served in the army, the U.S. Army, and all of these things, and he didn't understand. And, you know, he didn't even try to understand. He just had the constant pity party, didn't dissect it and deal with it and come out of it a different way. He pity.
So how did you feel, or let's speak to a woman that
Mhm.
could potentially be going through this or have gone through this and thinking about those times when it had to hurt. You had to at that moment even have moments of
Word
feeling
is an
alone.
understatement.
Yeah, yeah. That's why
Mhm.
I was
Yeah.
wanting to hear the words hurt,
I
alone,
didn't say
sad, frustrated, pissed off, mad as hell. I want that list. That is
it.
the list that I need to
I
hear.
didn't want to curse on here.
See, y'all didn't hear me say not one
Yeah.
cuss word, did you? But it's what it is. Now,
But
so
that's
yeah,
what came to my mind. Yeah.
but see,
Yeah.
this is an adult channel, right? I believe these
Yeah.
are kept people on here. These are
Yeah.
kept men and women. Yeah, so it's being
Yeah.
pissed off, it's mad as hell, frustrated, right?
Mhm.
Feeling like
Mhm.
you uh choosing this person in this life and then for it to look like this.
Yeah, I was wrong about him. What's wrong with me? Why didn't I see this? How could I not know? All these kinds of things run through your head. But um everything happens for a reason. That's all I'm gonna say right there.
She's so sweet, y'all. She is so sweet. She's so sweet. She is so sweet. She's so sweet. We do want you to know if you are looking and listening, if you are a woman that is going through that, or even someone that you know, whether you're a man or a woman, because we do understand that things like this occur across it's on both sides. We want you to get the help that you need. We want you to seek professional help. And
Call
if you're,
me and we can
yeah,
talk.
if you seek
Yeah.
professional help, be okay to get therapy, be okay to get counseling, be okay to lean on a good support system because it's saying you should have it's counsel all around us, but then there is a thing that is called wise counsel. And
Hmm.
so we want to make sure that you are making the necessary calls for your mental health. Your mental health is the wealth of your life. It is that peace that surpasses all understanding when you can look at a thing and call it what it is. Those are things that help you be able to take your power back, stand in your authority so that you can live the life that you were intended to live. Even though we know, like I said before, we know that these are things that God does not always cause, but he will allow them because there is something that is bigger than what we've gone through. And if we're still here,
Mhm.
that means that there is a purpose, there's a design, there is a plan. And the hope, the prayer is that we are living out our called life. I believe that a part of this is what God has intended for your life, because you've heard it before when we think about battleships, and we could think about some of the toughest wars of our time. You have to be able to be trusted with trouble. Mhm. You have to be able to be
Mhm.
trusted with trouble.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so if we're asking for a lot, we believe that we've been called to bigger, we've been called to greater, then every now and then we were going to have to deal with some situations, whether they're externally or internally, to deal with the battle of what that look and feel like, to feel the fire on the
Mhm.
inside of us, as well as allowing, because we allow people to, I say, have access to this, right? Not
Mhm.
just physically, but we allow people to have access to this. That's our mind, because everything starts in our mind. And we have to
Mhm.
make those choices in our mind before they ever in the heart, because we have that heart and head struggle, that heart and head battle all the time. When did you
Mhm.
have that heart and head conversation where you like, I love him, but I've got to go, I gotta go? How did that feel when you were doing that tug of war with the head and the heart?
That's not book one, but
It's all right.
um,
Remember, we
yeah.
talking about the kept woman. We're talking about the
Okay.
kept woman story. So when you
Okay.
chose to come back to Cleveland, in which
Mhm.
where you reside currently, you still had
Mhm.
to leave. So that is still what that tug of war, without giving away too much. I want to talk to Robin. I want Robin, that tug of war, that head and heart. What does that look
When it
like?
was time to leave, there was no question. It was kind of like I'm getting ready to leave, and that was it. It wasn't like should I not. That's why I say it was the being kept thing was it's like pushing and pulling. Go here. Okay, now I don't want you there no more. Go there. Do this. Then go back over here. It's a divine reason why all of those things was happening. Okay, it would take me a lot of hours for me to like really break that down, but it was a divine reason why all of these things were happening. And it affected multiple things. It wasn't just what was being done for me or him or my stepson, my other stepson, my mother, my father. It was all of us. It was a whole big old pot being stirred up, and everything was being affected by everything I did. I was the one that kept it all together for everybody. And I had to make a lot of sacrifices. I had a lot of pain, despair, letdowns, disappointment, all the above, but it was for the greater good.
I like that. And before we get ready to actually, get out of here for right now, I want to know, because it's a question that you always ask your guests. So I would have to ask you so that we can clearly hear Robin say, what is it meant to be a kept woman? What does that mean to you?
It means that I am kept by God. I have His grace, His mercy. I'm anointed. I'm chosen. I'm an angel. I am a shoulder to cry on. I am a problem solver. I am someone that you can come to with confidence. I am the person, and I have to understand that I will not always have reciprocity in my friendships, my relationships, and the things that I do for people. But that's okay because everything that I want, need, should have, or is due to me is coming from up above. And that's all there is to it. That's what it means to be kept.
Woo! Do y'all feel the fire? Do y'all feel the fire? Y'all need to make sure y'all putting something in the comments. You need to make sure that you are actually sharing this. You need to make sure that you are hitting the notification bell, because this is a train that is on the track, and we're excited about where this train is headed to, helping others live out their kept life, because
Yes.
we have things that we need to do. It's the people that are actually waiting on what you have. It's people that are waiting on your story to help them be better in their story, in their lives. I do appreciate you sharing this conversation with us today, Robin. I
And I
appreciate
appreciate
people that
you.
are already following. I appreciate the people that are already subscribed. I appreciate the people that are actually praying. I appreciate the people that are praying, that are wishing and sending positive vibes and well wishes your way as you let more people know more about Robin, who Robin Boyd is, and what that looks like, what that really looks like. And I'm just super excited, hippopotamus happy for what is to actually come, what is to actually come. This
Yes.
has been
Oh, it gets better
amazing.
and better.
Y'all need to let Robin know that she's doing a good work. And I want to know, I can't wait for her to tell me the reports that she's going to get behind her sharing this part of her life, how it has allowed you to turn the mirror on yourself to say, what do I need to do? And then for some of us, remember, this is a daily walk to be kept. This is a daily walk to be kept. We have to make kept decisions every day to make the right decision. And the
This
times
is
when
a tough decision.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the times that we are, we may not make the best judgment call. Just sit back and think about Robin's words. And I have to show this one because, of course, like I said, Robin, we have been a part of each other's life for a long time. See, so I have I have my original copy. I have my original. Right. And I know some of you have the original copy, and we are excited for what is coming soon. So y'all might as well go and let her know. Go and even cash app her. Yeah, I'm gonna say that. I can say that. Go ahead and cash app her right now. But we do. We appreciate you for hanging out with us for this Kept Woman conversation with none other than who? Robin Boyd. And we excited for what is coming, what is coming, what is coming, what is coming, what is coming. So y'all get ready, y'all get ready, y'all get ready, y'all get ready, y'all get ready. Yeah, y'all get ready. Yeah, y'all hear it. Look, y'all get ready. We applaud you, Robin. We salute you, we
Okay.
salute you, we salute you, we salute you. And we're gonna get out of here, and we're gonna see y'all again for another
Hey,
Help Woman
what's up?
conversation.
All